Children is not glued to marriage. Marriage is between husband and wife to the exclusion of children. You are not married to your children. You are married to your spouse. So when you have children, it is a bonus in marriage, and you cannot put your marital joinder on the women. You cannot put your marital fulcrum on the children, saying because of the children you must remain in marriage. It is so much pressure on the children. That is why you see our parents telling us, the children, that I suffered because of you people. You now make us feel bad. We were not the cause of your suffering. The suffering was your own choice. Do you understand? We are not I suffered because of this child. The suffering was your choice. The child was also your choice. Two different choices. You chose to give birth and you chose to suffer. The children are not the cause of your suffering. This cause of your suffering is you. The fact that you remained in suffering. And that is what we tell you. The moment the first time abuse happens is the last time you are looking at me like this. As in, where you saw me, not that, by mistake. You looked at me, you walked to me, and you slapped me. That will be the last slap. Before I retaliate, or for my peace of mind. I know I can't fight, so I run. He that fights and runs away and lives to fight another day. I leave. I tell people, they say, at what point do you leave an abusive marriage? I said, the first time the abuse happens. It is your response to the first abuse that will determine if there will be other abuse. So welcome once again to Just Before You Say I Do. I want to thank everyone that has been here every Thursday, every other time, using your data, using your, joining me. It's going to another year and you have been here. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I have been dealing with a series called Anomalies. An anomaly is something away from the pattern. That is, it does not follow pattern, like parents eating their young instead of taking care of the young. A black parents giving birth to white children. Things that are not normal. And in marriages, we started first. The first anomalies are parents that support the abusers of their own children. Second, I talked about the simple last week. In fact, while I was on air in the radio station, I played a song called Eniyobi Akparo. And for the Yorubas or non-Yorubas, it just meant how the world is. If you can't catch up with him, kill him. If he has a good wife, let us marry her together. If he has a good job, let us spend his money. He has lost his job, let us find another person. It just gave a summary of how the world works, how the world thinks. And that buttresses the point of please avoid simple people as spouses. Some people always thought being simple was a godly character, but I think I broke that down. that simple people are referred to as simpletons, and simpletons are people who are foolish according to the very definition. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I have nothing to talk about. I want to talk about my day. I'm exhausted. Yesterday I got in to this house 2 minutes to 12 midnight. Today, if not for the fact that I am supposed to be online, I would have still been at the state CID. But I want to tell you something that happened today. It started yesterday, or was it the day before yesterday? Before I forget, I'm closing my office for the year tomorrow. So from tomorrow, I'm not going to be, no official business. I'm shutting down for the rest of the year. I would see people next year. That's maybe third week of January, because I need to rest. What I do is something that you need to be alive first. So I need to rest, and it's really. So I'm closing tomorrow. So I think some people got wind of this. I had said it last week on air, and so the rush came into the office. We're rushing. In fact, I have never been this rushed since I have started in my entire life. So a lady called me early in the morning. It was around 7:30. I always like to wait till 8, but the call was persistent, so I picked up. And she said to me that she's had enough. This morning she's leaving, that she has called the Lagos State emergency number, that is 112. And I said, does it still work? And she said, yes. They called back, and her husband took the phone, and said no, they shouldn't come again because they were on the way, and that the husband beats her, that she's gone from police station, that they know her in the police, that it is too much, that today is no, that she started crying, that it is too much. And I said, wow, what happened? She said she was going to work, and he took all her clothes that she's going to work and soaked the clothes in a bucket of water. That the clothes that she had ironed, because he had started. I said, what started this thing? Said she doesn't even know how to explain. So I asked, I said, how did you get my number? And she said, her mother called her and said, this will be the last incident, and after this, if she remains in the marriage, that is her mother said, she would disown her. That is, she would never put her hand in a matter again. So I said, your mother supports that you leave the marriage? She said, it is too much, that every time it is beating, it is settlement, it is this, it is that. And I said, okay, where are you? Can you come up? She said he has locked her things in the house, locked her phones, that's what he does. He would take everything locked so that she cannot call for help. And the thing is, when you are telling me these kinds of stories, I'm now thinking of a very huge guy, 6'9", 500 pounds, to be doing all these things. So I said, okay, what does your husband do? And she told me that her husband is a parish pastor. He's the pastor of the church. I calmed down. I said, what meanest thou? There are some things you would hear. You just start speaking in King James English. I said, parish pastor, okay. It's beating you, because I could hear, the shouts, and I said, it's beating you, and that has been beating you and doing all these things? Said yes. You see, there's nothing that annoys me like that when clergy leads the charge in domestic violence and abuse. I said, madam, so do you have any clothes? She said, no, he has locked the door of the room, locked her stuff, and I said, so you don't have anything? She said she's in her bra as she's speaking. That maybe clothes that they want to wash that she poured outside. I said, go and look for something from those clothes and wear. Come to my office. I said, where do you stay? She said, Bagada. I said, oh yeah, be coming. She said, I don't have any money. I said, how come? She said, he has locked all her purse, everything with her ATM card, everything. So she could. I said, this phone that you are using, does it have mobile banking? She said, yes. I said, okay. You can go to POS, transfer to them from the phone they will give you. Once they receive the alert, they will give you cash. She said, okay. And within 30 minutes, she was in my office. He even got to my office before. It was around 7:30. And I got, I've been getting home so late. I was like, okay, then she just called. I'm here, so I'm like, now. I went there. Ladies and gentlemen, when she started talking, she got married to her husband, let's say January. February, as in less than 1 month, the beating had been going on. Beating. And I said, he's the parish pastor. She said, yes. When I took up the case, he was a teacher before. Would you believe that he had been charged in the school he taught for defiling a 9-year-old girl, and the case had been taken up and he was in Kirikiri. He was discharged again from Kirikiri. The parents of the girl, kind of dropped the charges because they didn't want their daughter's name to come out in they wanted to protect the daughter's name. So eventually they stopped the case, and then the gentleman was released from Kirikiri afterwards. He came some years after. They had a nanny. The man is a full-time pastor, so the wife augments the wife. Got a nanny to take care of the child. By the time she came back, the nanny started that the husband tried to rape her while she was not around. The nanny now went to the police station to report. Police came, arrested this same man again. And then he says each time these things happen, he will call all the big pastors. You see a pastor, zonal pastor, this one, all of them will come. They will now start begging for him. They beg the girl, the nanny that was went to report the case of attempted rape. Attempted rape is 14 years. So did all this, and I'm surprised with all the domestic violence again. And I said this camp, and my question, ladies and gentlemen, is how can he be a parish pastor when he's someone that had been charged for defiling a minor, had been put in Kirikiri, came out to be a parish pastor? Probably he was they say AP. He was a junior then. He was made an AP with this charge. Then attempted rape again. And he was now given a parish to pastor as an AP. And I'm wondering what is the criteria? What is the criteria? What is the criteria for choosing pastors? I thought it's beginning to be mad. When I dug into the matter, I saw that, he had cases at Ifako police station. And I'm like, wait, in fact, she said they just came back from ministers' conference on Saturday, and this last Saturday. So immediately I typed a petition. I took to the state SCID, state CID, the gender section. He went to his office, all that, dropped an invitation. He wasn't there. When she went with policemen to take her 2 kids, because the pastor's mother also lived in the house and saw all this, but the mother would be supporting her son. So they went there to pack some of her things and take the 2 children. And the mother of the pastor now blocked that. No, they can't take the children. The children are minors. And she said she can't live without someone that has been charged for pedophilia. I will now leave my children. So I now asked her, didn't you know that one before you continued in your marriage, that this gentleman had been charged for defiling a minor? You see, me, I believe, okay, maybe someone can change, however misguided, you say because he had defiled or attempted to defile a minor, does not mean he cannot give birth. But the issue is, how does he become the parish pastor? So, I'm like, oh God, I'm going to close for the year on Friday. That's tomorrow. I said, this case. So today, it was day before yesterday. Today, the pastor had heard that the police were looking for him, so he now came. And they called me that our accused is around. Called the lady came. We went there. When I got there, as usual, pastors followed him. Now, I am wondering, ladies and gentlemen, let me sit down and cross my leg. Pastors followed him for what? Pastors followed him for what? So earlier, I called one of the redeemed pastors who happens to be also a parish pastor. We went to school together, and I told him that there's a problem. Redeemed, all these big churches, Redeemed, Mountain of Fire. Because you are big, you pack goat, sheep, wolf, everything, they come inside. So when I tell you that there has to be a way. It's not, you see, I know that if they are GO, hears this, they will drive away. But how is it possible that the person is a pastor and the other pastors know? The pastors came to state CID to plead for him again, knowing that he has a criminal charges against him from other churches. So when the OC called me as the head of the gender, that, wait till I tell you, see, as pastors don't come again. I said, Mama, just wait. I now called that other. I said, when I'm talking, I need him to also come. So my friend drove down from the island. He's also a pastor. And he came to join me inside. And now sat down. Pastor came, another pastor came. Some pastors were calling on the phone. I told this one too. So they didn't know he was a pastor. He sat down next to me. They started, the lady narrated that, a nasty ordeal. She was just tired. Had witnesses. This pastor will start. She denies him sex. This, that. She's always going to her office. She doesn't cook. The children bedwet because they eat late at night. He said several things, and I waited for him to finish. When he finished, and I said, how much do you earn as salary? The OC gender said I shouldn't ask that kind of question now. That I said, why? Why is she working? Isn't it to augment what you cannot provide? How much is your salary as a full-time pastor? These children, who is taking care of the children? Who is paying for feeding in the house? Who is clothing the children? Who is taking care of the house? She. How much can you afford? Yet you are complaining about her job. If she does not work, how will you say she will come back home 7 and she closes at 4:30, at times 5? Where do you stay? Bagada. Where does she work? VI. Have you been in that traffic? You are complaining that she works. Meanwhile, you are eating the food that she cooks from her work. Then, you know the annoying thing, saying that the children are still bedwetting because they eat late, because she comes back home late. And they missed one immunization because her job. I said, so in all this, where are you, the father? Can't you also make sure the children eat while she's coming from work? He said he is a full-time, so he goes Mondays and comes back Fridays. I said, where, in this Lagos? Yes. So in this Lagos, it's not that you're a full-time. So you can't come home to take your child for immunization. You're saying they missed immunization and you were there. Church is church service Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. No. You have one midweek service and then you have the Sunday service. So you are busy for 2 days actively the week. So you could go 5-6 days and tell the woman she cannot. So I looked at my other pastor, said, can you hear? And after, you will now tell her to open the legs. If she does, then you now beat her on top. You know that there is an established case of domestic violence because she has reported you in 3-4. Said there are times she will shout. She will, no problem. So he didn't know who I was. I was sitting down, just listening when he was talking, He could talk. He's a pastor. He knows how to talk. Nice. But I was picking my points. And by the time I finished, so somebody now said, the OC said, you know what? This is Barrister Olumide's case, so now NGO. So one now said, so the pastor that came with him now said, Barrister Olumide, that he used to hear one Barrister Olumide on the radio, one Barrister Olumide Kayode Omosebi. Anyway, he just said it as a joke. Then the OC gender now said, you they follow talk. So that got both of them alarmed. I think the gentleman now listens, the pastor listens to my program. So both of them now look at themselves, that you are Barrister Olumide Kayode Omosebi. The guy now says, yeah. I said, so from that time, I now took my eyes away. Before I was looking at him straight in the eye. Then I took my eyes away. And I looked at. And I said, Barrister Olumide, let me explain. This thing is not like you. I said, hey, Chebi, you have been explaining since.